Hello and welcome to ChinnyVision. This time, it's some MSX housekeeping. There's been a few games on ChinnyVision that I've reviewed at various stages where I didn't actually own an MSX at that time, so I couldn't cover the MSX version. But today, we're going to look at 3 MSX games that I didn't have at the time, and also one new one as well. So let's fire up the Hit Bit. And the 3 games we're looking at are Feud 180, Pong, and a brand new game called Reflex. So I'm first of all loading up Feud, a game that was featured on, I think, episode 2 of ChinnyVision by John and Steve Pickford, originally written on the Sinclair Spectrum and ported to the Amstrad CPC versions for the 6502 systems as well, the C64 and the Atari 8-bit and the IBM PC. And I didn't actually know there was an MSX version at the time, and I also didn't own MSX when I reviewed it. So loading this up, no loading screen, straight onto the, I say menu screen, it's a title screen here, no selection for redefining keys or anything like that. You're straight in. Feud is a tale of 2 warring wizards, where you are one wizard and the computer AI is the other, and you have to go around collecting ingredients, take them back to your cauldron, and cast spells to destroy your brother. So here we go, and it's the Spectrum graphics with the Amstrad sound. There's no colour clash or anything like that, but the original Spectrum version was very cleverly designed to avoid that kind of thing. But yeah, just the Spectrum screen squeezed into the MSX is slightly wider or squashed down because of the PAL and NTSC thing screen. So there's a herb there, that's Hemlock, we've picked that up. And the music is, as I say, straight from the Amstrad CPC, but we've got the Spectrum graphics. Now, if you've watched episode 2 of ChinnyVision, I will have put a link in here for you to have a look at that. You'll notice in the review that I talk about the C64 version and the Atari 8-bit versions not being very good. C64 versions specifically has the computer AI is basically completely wrong, and therefore the Amstrad and Spectrum versions are the versions to play. So what we've got here is actually a very faithful version of Feud. It is essentially the Spectrum version. It's all the AI, and there's Leonaric walking down there. He's probably got a spell, so I'm going to run away. No, he hasn't. I'm going to walk back. Hey, I've got a spell. Actually, I don't. I have nothing. But he's now going to walk away. Oh, can I jam up against that villager? There we go. Right, he's not going anywhere, is he? So that's the enemy wizard, your brother, and you have to get the spells, find him, cast them, and zap him. Just wandering into the herb garden where it's guarded by this monk. I think he's named after one of the other binary design programmers, or the owner, or something like that. Heike, he's called in the instructions. He homes in on you, so you've got to be fast getting your ingredients. Oh, no, you see, there, if he touches me, I lose energy. Oh, he's off the screen now. And Feud is flick screen. It's been designed like this. The MSX version does feel a little bit compressed, but it's not. I think it's just because the screen's pushed so far horizontally. Oh, I've lost energy there. I'm not going to get out of the herb garden alive, am I? Oh, dear. The thing about Feud is if you get good at it, you practice it, you can do quite well, but coming back to it cold after probably about a year since I last played it, I'm not doing very well at all here. But the good news is here on the MSX, it's a really, really good port of what is a fantastic game. Certainly up there with the Spectrum and Amstrad versions. Another Pickford Brothers game, or actually it's not really a Pickford Brothers game, is it? It's just the hand is drawn by Steve Pickford. But it's by binary design. It's 180, the darts game on the Mad label. And so again, we've got the 128K Spectrum and the Amstrad CPC music. But so far it's looking pretty similar to the Spectrum. So we'll start a game. And nicely, they've managed to keep the dartboard round, because the danger always was on the MSX, they might end up stretching it horizontally, although the hand doesn't quite look right. That's been stretched horizontally, but the dartboard is circular. With 180, we've always got to get back into it, and I'm not doing very well at the moment. The controls slightly, might just be me. I was going to say the controls might be slightly different here, but I might just be out of practice. But so far, looking and playing like the Spectrum version and the Amstrad version as well. Oh, I've got 20 there. I thought I was going for a 60. Get my hand over. I'm sure this is a practice thing. I'm usually quite good at this. Right, so what's the bar scene going to look like? Yep, it's a straight port from the Spectrum. Exactly the same graphics. From the Specky, we're looking at effectively the 128K Specky version running on the NE64K MSX. So I forwarded it on. Just going to finish this game here. Can I win this game? No. He's got to get double 17. He's going to get it, isn't he? Yeah. Right, so I've been beaten by the computer, which is rather humiliating. See if I can do a little bit better. Treble 20. Oh, pressure's on now. Oh. And we get the speech. Although you don't get the applause from the Amstrad version, but you still get the speech. One of the things I'll say about 180 on any of the versions is it's better played on a slightly looser joystick, I find. I prefer my PowerPlay Cruiser on one of the on the loosest setting. I just find it a little bit more tactile and easy to guide it all around. So right, I've got to finish this. Double 10. I have forwarded it on again, by the way. You don't want to see watching lots of matches of 180. Yeah, it's a very good port here on the MSX. Probably the best dart games on the system. Well, it's a very good darts game on all the systems, to be fair. Konami Ping Pong, a game I wish I had the cartridge of when we reviewed the Spectrum Amstrad and Commodore 64 versions, and now I do have the cartridge. Got it from a guy in France. So far it looks exactly the same as the other versions, very similar to the arcade. The table has no legs, I notice. It's just hovering. Very smooth and nice. Oh. So the MSX is winning. Now, my version of the game didn't come with a manual, but I've managed to find the instructions online. And this is an enhanced version of Ping Pong over the versions you've seen in the arcade or the other 8 bits. The games are longer. I think you pay to about 12 points, something like that on the other 8-bit versions. Here, I think we're playing to 20 or 21 points. Konami have obviously designed this game to be, instead of just a direct arcade port, which is always going to be a coin guzzler in effect, they've designed it to give the game more longevity, and I'm still being thrashed here. I've pulled 1 point pack. 3-2. This is the easiest setting. This is really nice. Oh, now. Pulled it back to 3-3. The computer's making mistakes. The bats are sprites and are really smooth. There's no colour clash at all. The game's very colourful. And you have to remember how few colours the MSX has. It's got essentially the same kind of palette the Sinclair Spectrum has. But you couldn't do this on a Spectrum because you'd have colour clash everywhere. But this looks really nice and it's so smooth. It's 4-4. One thing I've always wondered about ping pong is in real life, do the fans of one player all sit on one side and the other player all sit on the other? Never really thought about that. Oh. I forwarded the game on, so we're getting close to the end of the game. I'm winning 19-17. Oh, yep. Up to 20. These longer games give it much more longevity, and I think we'll be playing the best of 3 as well. So you've really got... Each game is quite long, which is good because you would have paid quite a large amount of money for this cartridge when it came out, it being a cartridge game and all. Oh, it's very close. Can I win this? Come on. Get this together. Oh. It's forehand and backhand on the joystick. You don't need to move your bat. Oh, no. Hey, is that 21 points? Have I won now? Yep, there we go. Best of 3, and it's first to 21 points. This is really nice on the MSX. If you like this on the Spectrum and Amstrad, I didn't think much of the Commodore 64 version, but if you like it, then if you've got an MSX, this is a really good cartridge to own. It's got far more longevity, and this is just level 5, so you can see how fast it is at the hardest setting. Expect me to be completely thrashed. Expect me not to even hit the ball. Oh, that's fast. That is fast. You're going to have to be really good to be able to play the later levels. And this is 50 hertz as well. Imagine you've got 60 hertz. How much faster it's going to be. Wow. No, I'm not doing well. Really good cartridge to own, Ping Pong. Highly recommended for the MSX. Now on to a tape game that I bought the other week. Brand new old stock. It's called Reflex by Players. Not played it before. It looks like an Arkanoid or Batty clone or any other bat and ball game you can mention on the back. So loaded it up. The reason I'm including it here is I don't think a bat and ball game on one format, because I think this is the MSX only, is worthy of a full standalone review. So I thought I'd just tag it on here because I thought it looked interesting. So it's copyright 1987 Simon Daniels. Does that say press fire to start or press space bar to select number of players? Can you play 2 players at once or 1 player at a time? Actually, the instructions I think make it clear it's 1 player at a time. Press space, load extra levels. Right, okay. So starting the game, 1 player mode. Appears to be joystick only. Some icons on the left hand side, and those little star things are power-ups. And the more you collect, it cycles through the icons. So I've inadvertently selected 1 there. I don't quite know what it did. According to the instructions, the down 1 slows the ball down because the ball gets faster and faster. The exclamation mark stops your score going down. Your score's going down constantly. It's weird. The bomb sets off a bomb around the ball when you select it, so you can blow some bricks up. Question mark, which is a mystery bonus. Batten a ball, which is an extra life. And finally, if you get a plus, you can get onto the second level. Well, not second level, you skip forward a level, sorry. You're obviously being on level 1. We would not do that. Right, okay, so I'm trying again. So I've got down to a question mark now. Mystery bonus, but we don't want that. I want to try and skip forward to the next level. Background animation's quite nice. A little bit headache inducing, but quite nice. Right, press fire, skip forward to level 2. Different level here, and it's all very attractive and colourful. It is a bat and ball game, basically. This is not Arkanoid, if you know what I'm saying. It's not that level of gameplay. You can't blast away at different blocks and things. It's a budget Arkanoid. Is it as good as Batty? No, not really, but it's pretty good. Although that said, of course, the MSX has a decent version of Arkanoid from what I can remember when we reviewed it, and you would have better pick that up on budget a few years after this game came out. But at the time, 1987, well, this isn't bad. It's an original MSX title. I don't think this exists on other systems. I've lost more lives there. It's quite difficult. It really is quite difficult. This game really needs more interesting power-ups. Most of these power-ups are incredibly dull. The one that slows down the ball velocity is useful, skipping forward a level is useful, and the bomb thing is useful, though it'd be better to have blasters like Arkanoid. The rest of them are just pretty annoying, really. Extra lives always useful, I suppose, but at least you don't, well, I say you don't miss them like you do in Arkanoid when they fall past you. But it's easy for the ball to hit 2 power-ups in succession very quickly, and therefore the icons go past what you need. So that's a quick roundup of some MSX games that I haven't had a chance to look at in the main reviews. Feud is an absolutely brilliant conversion of an iconic and wonderful game. Highly recommended. 180 is effectively a straight port of the Spectrum 128K version of probably one of the best Dark games, or the best Dark game, on the 8-bits. Again, highly recommended. Ping Pong was a real improvement, I think, on the arcade version, because it gives you that extra longevity of play, the longer matches, that means you can play more strategic game. It's been turned from a coin guzzler into something more suitable for home computers, which is something the Spectrum, Commodore and Amstrad didn't get. So if you can get hold of a Ping Pong cartridge, again, I really do recommend that. Reflex, it's nice to see an original MSX game, an original title, though the concept of the game is obviously an Arkanoid clone. It's quite playable, it's a little bit difficult, but then again, I think this would have been I don't know if it's a $1.99 or $2.99 game, because I can't seem to find out, but either way, it would have been good value for money back in the day. It's an original and interesting MSX title, but is it as good as Arkanoid on the system? No, it's not, but for a budget game, you really couldn't have complained.